The majority of people who subscribe to me because of my Canon review video. Everyone knows that I'm an avid lover of the Canon G7x Mark II. It's my everyday carry. I love the reliability, I love the convenience, I love that auto mode performs so well with it. But recently, I have started using a new everyday carry that surprisingly I've been gravitating more towards than my Canon. So the camera is the Leica C. It's a compact point and shoot camera. She's cute, she's light, and I've been having a lot of fun with it lately. So let's get into what I love about this camera. Number one, the size. The camera weighs less than the Canon, it's smaller than the Canon, it's definitely more of a pocket camera, truly compact and will never weigh you down when you're out walking, hiking, traveling through the airport. Like these are all very common situations that I'm in that I'm with my camera in. And so it's important for me to have as compact of a camera as possible without compromising image quality and just like how powerful of a camera it is, because I still want a good result. Another thing I love about it is the electronic viewfinder. I very rarely use any electronic viewfinder on my cameras. I have the Sony a6000 and that one also has an electronic viewfinder. I don't really find much need for it, but when you need it, you need it. And after spending quite a few days in the desert where the sun was just like beaming down cloudless days, I actually found myself using the electronic viewfinder. Another thing I love about this camera is the zoom. The zoom on this camera is powerful. I will show you a picture that I took of the moon. And we all know that the moon is very far away, so, it's impressive. I have never been able to take such a beautiful picture. And trust me, I have tried. I have tried with many cameras. I have never been able to take such a beautiful picture of the moon, so clear, so crisp, than with this camera. And that is what sealed the deal for me in terms of trusting this camera to do the job that I need it to do. I also love the in-camera charging. On my road trip, I mostly charge my cameras in the car. All of my cameras in the car, including the Canon, which I'm shooting on now. I feel like for a travel camera, that's very important, at least to me, so it's something I loved about it. A less important factor that I also really loved is just the looks. It's a pretty camera. I very rarely call cameras pretty, but I genuinely find this camera to just be beautiful. I love the simplicity. I love the minimalism, and I don't know if it's the color that makes me feel that way, but I just feel like it is just such a nice camera to look at. And, when I'm out there, I'm shooting, it matches any outfit. Like I love the way it looks. So I just appreciate that. That's just like a little extra thing. You might not care, but I care. This is a fun camera. And this is kind of like my last point, as like just to wrap up the things that I love about it. I don't use my point and shoot cameras for anything other than traveling and having fun. And just having a camera on me to just capture whatever's in front of me. I want to be able to travel with it. I want to be able to pull it out of my pocket really quickly to get a quick shot. I want to be able to pass it off to other people so that they can get a quick shot, either of me or of whatever else, whoever's helping me vlog. Take really quick pictures of the horses with it. This camera is just simply fun and an enjoyable experience. And it's easy. It's easy to use. And really when I'm traveling, that's all I want. I don't really ask for much else. Just a simple, easy, enjoyable experience. I want a camera that's going to let me focus on just like framing the scene and composing and capturing the scene rather than be a technician and be like messing around with the settings. Any camera that performs really well in auto mode for me is a camera that goes in my on my good list, because that's what I use them for. Now, the only thing that I really don't enjoy about this camera is the fact that it does not feel sturdy. Now, I'm not going to blame the camera for this because, cameras are delicate and complex pieces of technology, and no piece of technology likes to be dropped. But I did drop this camera one time by accident. It fell out of the trunk when I was opening the trunk, and it fell onto a gravelly surface. And immediately, these little black lines showed up on the screen that progressively got worse as the days went on. And I've never had that happen before. And the lines did go away. It wasn't, I don't even know what it was because I don't know anything technical about cameras. But I have dropped my Canon probably 3 times, like 3 real drops. Not drop them, but like, you know, sometimes your camera will just fall off of a rock. I need a camera that is going to be able to handle the fact that sometimes you're going to fall off of a rock. And I need you to like stay with me. I need you to keep up with me. It is my fault. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh my God, like, because it could just be the way that it felt. You know, it's delicate. You know, it's a piece of technology. So I'm not faulting the camera for that. But I feel like because it is an older camera, they're not made like sturdy like the ones today are made. And when you're traveling, I think that is something that you do have to consider. Like, I would never want to get that camera wet. I would never want to get that camera like anywhere near sand. Like, to me, it feels like a delicate camera. And then another thing to think about, and this is not necessarily a fault of the camera either, but I accidentally forgot my SD card when we were on a hike in Utah, and I forgot my SD card, and the only SD card we had on us was an 128. And mind you, I usually use a 4 gigabyte SD card. We only had the 128. I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to work. Like, I don't know if the camera's going to like this. So going into it, I knew that there was a possibility of something going wrong. But sure enough, it did go wrong. And I lost all of my pictures except like 4 that I took on that hike. I've never had a camera do that before. I've never like taken a bunch of pictures and then lost all of them. Thankfully, I only lost pictures and videos from that hike, but it was still disappointing because, you know, I took some of my favorite pictures on that hike. Just something to think about when you're messing around with older cameras and you're using older pieces of technology in general. The accessories also are also different. So if you're used to shooting with a 64 gigabyte with a 128 gigabyte SD card, don't just put that in any camera from 2007 and expect it to work. Like, I just think it's something to think about. So to wrap up, once again, I love a camera that's going to allow me to be an artist, a fun girl with a camera, and not a technician. There's a time and place for it, but when I'm traveling, it's not the time nor the place. Small enough to fit in the pocket, powerful enough to take really beautiful pictures with it that I feel like are very impressive, and easy enough to use that I don't have to think too hard about what I'm doing. And I still have a lot of adventures to go on with this camera. Like, I've only been on this one trip to Colorado, so these are really my initial impressions of this camera. But like I said before, I did find myself gravitating more towards this camera than my Canon, and that's never happened to me before. And I think that says something about the quality and the experience of using this camera. So let me know if you've ever shot with this camera before, because like I said, I'd never seen this one before. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your impressions, and I will see you in the next video.